In the newest NTE update, they added a little bit of a big minigame. It is a fantasy, like JRPG sort of inspired minigame, quite large of a minigame with, well, the entire patch's story and the majority of its content actually comes in this minigame, so it's fitting that it's quite big. And the question that we're here to answer today is, how good is it? Well, I've played around with it quite a bit by now, and I have even seen some other people play it. I've talked to some people about it, and we're here to kind of examine a little bit how good is it, and from different angles try to understand what has really been done with the minigame. Now let's start off with the first, the player perspective of you are just playing this. For the most part, the story is not intrusive to the actual gameplay, so there's no real issues with that, but gameplay-wise, it is not terribly complex. You have some boss fights that could maybe pose an issue, but other than that, it is a sort of mob slaying simulator. And you will run through these little maps where you are going to be fighting a lot of enemies, groups of enemies usually, and farming some equipment. It's not open world, it is instance-based, and that is not to its detriment. It is in fact a good thing, because it allows them to portray a larger map in a way more compact way. You are walking around in kind of like a zoomed out mode where you go through a smaller-esque version of the map, which is represented in a kind of the board of the game. It is nice, it looks good, it is fitting obviously, and you walk over to these instances where you are then loaded into an actual kind of full-scale map, I suppose, of that area, and in there you begin to do like the real fighting and going through a mostly linear experience through these instanced maps, and you go to the boss, right? There is a little bit of exploration in them. In some more than others, you're able to go to like little side areas. If you chase the chests, you will see a lot more. And at the very end of these maps, you will run into a bigger boss that you are going to have to fight. These will be the most challenging fights. Like the bosses do have attacks and specific things that they do, but it's nothing too complicated. It's like they're actually mostly easier than some of the bosses that we have outside of the board game. So there's that. Not to mention, having some like really good gear can also really help you in those fights to speed them up a lot. You can also technically farm up higher than the bosses as well and make them even easier, but there's no real point in that. You would just be spending a lot of time. So, gameplay-wise, I would say that if you are someone who enjoys the style of game like Warframe or similar kind of grindy games where you kill a lot of enemies and you continue on and stuff like that, you would probably enjoy this game as well. It is a sort of mindless fun, I guess, is the best way to put that. It's enjoyable. You have the grind for equipment as well, where you can get some really, really powerful equipment, but it is very RNG. If that's something you want, it is there, and it is permanent, so There's nothing like, oh, gotta do it now. No, you can just do it whenever you want. So I don't really have complaints on that. But if you are looking for something like actually challenging fights with the mechanics and stuff like that, I mean, honestly, I don't think NTE is your game in the first place, but neither is this minigame, so don't come for that. Now, what if we would like to examine this minigame, or I guess whole patch content, from a story perspective? How does the story really seem to be? Won't go into spoilers, don't worry about that, but giving it like an overview, the story is not, you know, it's not going to impress you, wow you. It's about in a similar vein as the actual gameplay is, in the way that it's fun as long as you just go into it knowing that it's not going to be anything serious. It's just fun. At the end of the day, they're just like playing a board game together, right? So, I mean, there's some mysteries that are carried around a little bit here and there. Even if there's some things that you can kind of expect from early on, or even from before entering the game itself, we kind of know certain things, but you have others that are, you know, a little bit more mysterious. We also get to see a lot more of the characters here that we haven't, like, we don't really know much about Iroi or even Shinku in terms of like their personalities and stuff. So this minigame, you know, this story does actually give you a lot more about them in a very like organic way, where you get to see just exactly how they would act in this kind of relaxed environment, right? So yeah, while the story isn't going to give you a crazy like, oh, I'm gonna cry, or oh, this is insane, it's actually fairly enjoyable, and it pretty much does what it sets itself out to do. So once again, I don't really have much to complain about in this sense. Like, I didn't expect it to be anything crazy. At the end of the day, it's just playing a board game. So it was right about in my expectations. So overall, again, neither the gameplay nor the story is going to blow your mind, right? So simply have some fun in the minigame, spend some time. You're going to, you know, play around a little bit. Maybe over time, you're gonna, right, like, you're gonna grind the currency to get your skins, stuff like that. You can get like 1 million fawns in the shop with it as well, which is quite good. There's, actually, I didn't count how much amulet is in there, but there's a good amount. So that's permanent though. That's permanent as well, just like the minigame itself. So you can take your time grinding up everything in the shop, and yeah, it's just there for fun, right? Like, the whole thing is just there for fun. There's some rewards. You can go as slow as you like, or as fast as you like. I don't know. I honestly, well, I don't know. One thing that could be bad though, if this is like a must-do main story, because I'm pretty sure it is technically in like the main story quests slot. I'm hoping that whenever they do the next patch, they don't force you to finish this story. It can be like in the main stories, but it shouldn't prioritize over the others, right? Because it really is completely on the side and its own little fun little thing. So that's one thing that can be bad about it, but we would have to talk about that later. For right now, yeah, I would say it's actually pretty good. A rating. What rating would I give it? I would give it the rating, probably like a 7 out of 10, right? Yeah, 7 out of 10. But it's because of the fact that it never actually sets itself out to do something crazy or that impressive, right? It's just the fantasy world that they have there, and it's a board game world. It's a board game fantasy world. You know, like that's all it is, and that's what it is. And it's a fun little time. But yeah, 7 out of 10. So you can take that, put it on a plaque, frame it in gold, and just put it on the office wall. You're welcome. I approve it. Yeah. All right. Just I don't know. Go play it and have some fun or something. Yeah. Subscribe. Like the video. Yeah. All that shit.